What's something you find weird that is 100% normal? The fact humans drink other animals' milk. Like that liquid isn't for us. People find the thought of drinking human milk gross, but it's especially formulated for us. It's something that should be consumed for nutrients when we're babies. Not a regular drink. Cheering in a crowd. I just can't bring myself to woo-woo. As a dog owner and cat owner, I sometimes look at them and think, there is literally an animal living in my house whose ancestors ran free and hunted other animals, and it is just laying upside down all cute on its bed beside me and also can't eat unless I give it food. So I guess that the entire concept of laughter. Why does our face contort and our diaphragm spasm when certain things happen? And how do our brains decide what things are funny and what things aren't? Gravity. Dancing. Like people flail around in weird and awkward ways to sounds. Our stomach naturally produces hydrochloric acid. It's corrosive and can burn through your skin and tissues. Our stomach lining is covered in mucus to prevent us from eating inside out. Have you seen hydrochloric in a science experiment? That chemical reaction is insane. Makes sense as we eat meat, bones and cartilage sometimes. If not, our poop is gonna be bony. Some mold is edible, no matter how stinky it is. Birds having a built-in GPS system. They can fly south for the winter, then fly back to the exact same tree up north. Languages. Or just talking in general. The fact that we've given meaning to a bunch of random sounds made by our vocal cords is bizarre when you think about it. Like, how did this even start? How were we able to decide what should be called what? For example, how did we decide that Iraq is called Iraq or that the sky is called the sky? The internet. How it works. And also just the whole concept of it. Complete strangers on literally the other side of the planet can interact with me almost instantaneously. Using sharp metal to scrape hair off of my face. Kissing. I mean, I like it. It's nice. But honestly, who was the first person to say let's smash my mouth against your mouth and see what happens? Redding. Like, there are these random squiggles and we can instantly interpret them into complex thoughts, concepts, feelings, emotions, from people we've never met or sometimes even heard of before. It's weird. Having pets. I have 2 dogs that I love to death, but when I really think about it, I realized they're just 2 random animals that I saw one day and said yeah, I like that one, and put them in my home against their will, and I give them food regularly and smother them with more affection than I give to other people. And those 2 random animals seem to think that's totally dope and show signs of liking me back. Crying. Why does my body create liquid from my eyes if something is sad at it? Holy shiz, this comment has blown up. I've only ever had like 50 upvotes at most for anything. Hahaha, Merry Christmas. Balance. Like here. Have a sack of bread. Dreaming. Whole worlds. People following some kind of plot. Coming to same places in different dreams. Sometimes years away. Then we wake up and puff. Off it goes. The fact we piss, shiz and receive pleasure within a 2-inch radius to all the smartasses that say it doesn't apply to them because they're hung. Your cum gland still starts in your bollocks. Probably half of the words in any given language. Repeat any word a handful of times. And it can start to sound really weird. Then I start questioning why that word is associated with whatever it's associated with. There's usually never a good answer. But it's great enunciation practice for AskReddit. Thank you fellas and lady fellas for my most upvoted comment on here so far. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everyone. The fact that almost everybody finds somebody's butt attractive. Teeth. I don't know why. Your teeth are the only part of your skeleton that you can see. You bleach them. You lose them. You put metal racks on them so you remold your bones to the shape that society finds visually appealing. There's a fictional woman that breaks into your house to pay you for these bones. It sounds like a straight up sociopath. We get film on them that calcifies, solidifies, makes other bone-like material. Like teeth are weird. Dude. Being alive. In this world. Public bathroom stalls in the us. Completely normal yet 100% fricked. My tongue is a meat tentacle. Paparazzi. They do everything just like a stalker. Yet they're not incarcerated for it and paid to do the things they do. Clapping. Animals must think we're mental. Apart from seals. Seals know. The fact that a majority of people think in images. Like. Think of an apple and see. In the mind. A picture of an apple. So weird to me. I've never seen anything up there. 99% of TV and it ads. Like. They all suck and make me not want to buy the product they advertise. How do commercials make people want to buy things? The only ads that are even useful to me are movie trailers at this point. But almost never for new items. Scrolling on Reddit. Like WTF you just rubbing the phone screen. Keeping fish as pets with other pets you can cuddle. Pet. And play with them. But fish just sit there in their tanks and some people use them more as like a living decoration. Babies don't have kneecaps. Writing. I remember when I was a child and first started writing, I found it so fascinating how you can transform your thoughts into something palpable. The fact that all those other people you see out in public all have their own lives that they go home to completely separate from yours. Edit. Thank you kind strangers. Edit again. I have been informed many times that the word for this is sonda. As someone from an Asian cultural background. How American kids can get financially cut off from their families at 18. Like. They're still a family and on good terms. But my friends have said stuff like my mom owes me 300. Or that they're taking out student loans though their parents are financially able to support them through college. But. Their parents' money isn't their money anymore, so they have to take on debt. It's so strange to me. As the expectation in most Asian households are that parents support you financially when you're young and then you support them financially when they're old. And there's no clear demarcation of my money your money. Edit. Spelled American wrong. Houses welcome to my home. This is where I do my human things. Allergies. Like how the frick does your body become deathly allergic to something that isn't capable of killing another person? Please someone explain that shiz. As a left-hander. Watching right-handers write. Yeah. I get it. I am the odd one out. But still. Come on. Fellow left-handers. Back me up on this. Getting a sense of deja vu. I know many people experience it, but mine is so vivid sometimes I know what the next thing that is going to happen or the next thing someone is going to say. It doesn't happen often. And it's always the most insignificant moment, never a life-changing or major event by any means. It's a completely understood emotion furling than many people feel and understand it as simple case of deja vu, but they treat it so minor. It's weird and no one acknowledges how weird it is. I can't imagine ever taking a group shower in a locker room setting. There's a limitless, boundless void not that far above our heads we have no control or understanding of. And people don't seem that concerned about it. PPL will be like, see that star? It's hundreds of millions of light years away. Maybe it's already dead. Cool. Huh. And then they just go on about their day. I think the Romans and Mayans had it right. Gotta be more careful around the stars. You never know what could happen. As a deaf guy, looking at people kissing musical instruments is quite bizarre. Edit. I just woke up to 24k upvotes and rewards. That's a first. Edit too. And who knows how many comments. Edit 3. I got quite a few questions about my deafness and how I hear my thinking voice. I will try to answer as many as I can. I can hear some, which includes music. Which means I can hear and feel bass if it's loud enough. I can definitely feel vibrations. As for my thinking voice, ironically it's in music and some lyrics. I really don't like music that much, which makes it even more interesting. To those ignorant people who hadn't met a deaf guy online or in real life, you're in for a mash-eyed cultural shock. Yes, I can read and write English. Yes, I can type on my phone. Deafness means just that. I can't hear. It does not mean it prevents me from everything I hold dear. And to the trolls who commented that I was faking deafness, come meet me in real life and see for yourself. You're in for even worse shock than those who are ignorant. Edit 4. Don't apologize that I am deaf. You're focusing on my ears instead of me if you apologize in that way. Edit 5. This is the last edit, I swear. There's a lot of people asking if I can feel vibrations. Yes, I can feel them. This is the second time I said this. Being tracked, my cookies on the internet, and privacy being invaded by trackers. Drugs. You take something and your body is completely healed, or your mind is yeehaw in space. Having kids. You're just gonna make a person. You're just gonna snatch an innocent soul out of the void and force sentience upon it. What the hell, Edit? I'd like to add to this thought. The concept of influence is something that really fricks with my mind. Because of my comment, I have now changed the lives of everyone reading it. And everyone commenting. Not in the sense that I think I've so immensely impacted your way of thinking that your life is now forever changed. But I took time out of your life. The course of your life has now deviated and can never return to where it would have gone had I not made this comment. So to take it further, making an entirely new being would to me be an insane amount of influence on the world. That would change everything. It freaks me out. Does anyone have a good alternative to determinism? Cause I really can't think of one. Water. Every drop of water on our planet has been brought here by the solar system's oldest meteorites, carbonaceous chondrites. And yet, without it life wouldn't exist. Water is one of the biggest mysteries of all time. 71% of Earth is covered in it. 12% can be used as drinking water. And we treat it as if it's a never-ending resource. It's truly bizarre when you think about it. Sitting in the backseat of your own car, following celebrities blindly and caring about their opinions. Earrings. Drilling holes in your body to hang decorations from. Pregnancy. The idea of a whole person growing inside of me is just so fing weird. I always thought that and was always vocal about it, and everyone kept telling me that when I got pregnant I would understand and those feelings would disappear. Well, I got pregnant. Had a healthy pregnancy. I love my son 13 yo. But man, to this day, the idea and now the memories of having a whole person inside my body is so weird. Edit. Whole. Sorry. English is not my first language. Chewing. People sending nude pics of themselves to people they've just met or barely even know. Asking how are you when you don't give a shiz. Asking celebrities, athletes for autographs. I kinda get asking for a picture so you can post on social media or show your friends. But I don't understand. Hey, here is this famous person's name. I know autographs are beloved by many and a lucrative business for some. So I understand the logic of it. It's just strange to me, and it never asked for an autograph. I did get one as a kid, Macho Man Randy Savage, but it was when I was young and my dad asked him for the autograph for me. That fact that most humans freely drink liquids from other mammals. Commercialization. Everything is being hit with it. Christmas is on the brink of feeling corporate to me nowadays. Most holidays are, to be fair. Heck. Living too. Socializing. How the frick do you all do it so casually? I have to properly concentrate and plan everything out just to escape unscathed. Swinging our arms while walking. Saying hello, how are you, and them responding with hey, how are you, just because you made eye contact with each other. Yet neither one answers each other's questions. I find the whole corporate culture stuff really weird. Why does a corporation need its own superficial culture that follows basically no other culture in existence? You would think they would just care if you got the job done or not. But no. Let's make this weird Ash culture and find out if someone is a good fit for said culture or not. Who freaking cares? Does the person get the job done or not? Perhaps I am stretching Ops' question. But it seems like almost every major corporation from my potentially shoddy knowledge at least has these odd cultures. Since shortly after adulthood, I found it very peculiar to say the least. Shrek. Judging people for what clothing they wear. People. I mean, it's so weird that these meat suits have bodily functions. Personalities. Quirks. We watch TV like it's a totally natural thing and not something we created using our overpowered neuron sacs. Itching. Like. Why? Also. Why is itching so satisfying? So satisfying that no matter who, what, when, where, or how, if an itch is itching, I am scratching that thing like 30 lotto ticket. The societal expectation of having Shrek with a complete stranger you've met up with for a total of like 36 times. Do you know how easily a person can lie 6 times? Very. You don't know their quirks or their values or how they tick at that point. I had a crush on a guy, and as I befriended him several months in, I realized I dodged a huge bullet. Like, I am so relieved I vetted his personally beforehand, so I found out he's a stalker. Ham as a traditional Christmas meal. The guy whose birth we are celebrating never ate any kind of pork. You can be overwhelmed or underwhelmed, but never just whelmed. I don't have a dog. And I am glad people do this. But when I see people pick up dog poop with nothing but a thin plastic bag, I just can't wrap my head around it. I would carry the longest scooper I could find with me on dog walks. That people who are frequently on Reddit ask and respond to the same questions what seems to be every 2 weeks. And then same people will just take that question and make it opposite of the last question. Like that hasn't happened before. Am I going insane? Have I been on Reddit too long? Or too much? Do people really not notice this, or is this a lot of bots doing this shiz? People looking like their parents. I am adopted and never knew my real parents, so it's weird when I used to meet girlfriends' parents and siblings just all looking the same. Freaked me out when GF looked a lot like dad and had same mannerisms. Hard mode when it came to bedtime and dad with tits looking up at me, that's why the pillowcase goes on their heads now. Eating together is weird if you think of it as the opposite bodily function of taking a shiz. Shaking hands. How people win elections. The winner is not the most fitted for the position. Is the one that makes better publicity. The system makes us choose celebrities, not capable leaders. Cow's milk. How did we as a society normalize drinking the milk from another animal? And how many different animals did we have to sample before settling on cows? Don't get me wrong. I love milk with cereal, cookies, brownies, etc. stuff. It's just that I've always been curious about the history of it. That we send things to other countries so they can make things from the things. Just so they can ship the things to other parts of the world for people to buy the finished things at a slight discount of money but at a large cost to the environment. Shrekulizing babies and young kids. Like when someone calls their 2-year-old a ladies' man or heartbreaker. It's creepy. Why do you want to think about your child that way? Working 40+ hours a week. Being unhappy at work. And having to ask permission for time off to spend time with family or just go live life. It's freaking nuts to me. Saying sorry when you are not the problem or the one causing it. Some people's fascination with celebrities. Even just the mundane things. Like, oh, so and so was seen getting a drink at Starbucks today. Or today they walked their dog. What makes the fascination so much greater? I mean, it's pretty stalker-like. We all do these same mundane things, but yet some people are obsessed with celebrities and their lives as a whole. Completely baffles me. Having kids when you're not financially or mentally prepared. All of the water that is on Earth is the exact same water that existed millions of years ago. We never got new water. It was just recycled billions of times. The water we're drinking right now was the same water a Trex drank millions of years ago. That water was pissed out. Evaporated. And now we're drinking it only to piss it out, and some sap will drink it 10 billion years from now. Having photos of yourself in your home. I know what I look like. I know what my wife looks like. Saying the Pledge of Allegiance in schools. It's very weird. Do any other countries have something similar? Last names. How did every combination of words and letters in every dialect become a thing that is still so unique? Where did they come from? Posting pictures of your kids, but hiding their faces. If you feel it's necessary to protect your kids' privacy, why not just not put their photos online? Normalized alcohol consumption. Alcohol. Alcohol-related accidents or diseases kill 35 million a year. The same amount of people died from VID from May 2020 to May 2021. Alcohol is as deadly as a pandemic. Love. Everyone feels it. Can describe it, but it's just interesting. I love my wife. I picked her and she picked me through random chances of life. We met and were like, yeah, I'll spend the rest of my life with that person. More interesting. Once we had our first child Father's Day this past year through IVF. I feel even more in love with her. She's a wonderful mother and it's just weird. Like, I've read and heard about loving someone more, but I finally experienced it with our firstborn. Then there is that love of my child. Yeah, just love. It's odd. But I love it. People just seem to pair up so easily. Just randomly leaving the cart in the middle of the Walmart parking lot. Like, bro, do you even have brain cells? Wearing shoes inside the house has always creeped me out. It's like you were just out walking around town, probably stepped in dog poo, went in a public restroom, and now you're laying with your feet on the couch. I always hated when my roommates at college did that. And they thought I was the crazy one. Shoes off at the door. The fact that newborn babies have fingernails. It freaks me out. There's fecal material in your body at all times. Compulsory music listening in stores. Restaurants. Gas stations. Restrooms. etc. Thanks for forcing me to listen to this drivel. I did not consent to it. Nor do I want to listen to it. But you chose not only what I'll be listening to, but how loudly too, and we live in an age where virtually all of us have a pocket computer capable of playing whatever music we want streamed via a network to wireless high fidelity earpieces. But you force us to listen regardless because you know better. As an Asian person growing up in America wearing shoes in the house, watching movies where people flop into bed and there are shoes on. The idea that some people may have Shrek in bed with shoes on. Sitting on the couch with shoes, I don't understand. That it's normal now for people to post questions on Facebook rather than just using Google. I see it more and more these days and it dumbfounds me. Open casket funerals. I am foaming at the mouth trying to internalize how Bluetooth works. Getting in trouble at work for giving the customers the same energy they give to you. People who don't clean up after themselves. Has become normal. How open people are about their Shrek lives, I just don't want to hear it. I am not against whatever you do. I am just not interested in hearing about it. The exact same I could say about football. Piradis just a bunch of slow-moving vehicles and people waving at a crowd. With marching band music. Why? How much people will pay and how much inconvenience they will put up with to watch a sport played live by a team to whom they feel a connection because they come from the same state or attended the same college. Especially when the whole event is televised. I do not understand at all. A bikini is completely acceptable in public but underwear isn't. Saying bless you when someone sneezes. Kissing relatives on the mouth legit. Every female member of my family aimed for my mouth. From as early as I can remember up until age 16. When I told them adsmas. I don't want to freaking kiss anyone I am blood related to. I got grounded for a month. And was told to suck it up. They love me. And I only get one family. No. Frick that, to this day even after they try to do it I still awkwardly turn my head. Or dodge out of the way and shoulder that right there. Tip you off that I don't like it. The rest of my family does it. No issue. It's weird. You will never change my mind. How not everyone sees the same color, so how not everyone can visualize images in their head or even hear a voice in their head. What really gets me is how so many people do the same things but think they are the only ones to do it. For example, how I sit in the shower and cover my ears because I like the sound of water on my Scully was talking about it with a friend and they started laughing at me because they do the same thing. It's weird how similar everyone is in some ways. Cemeteries. The idea that we go to visit someone's decaying body, buried with a bunch of other decaying bodies close by. Also, we spend lots of money on expensive boxes for comfort and potentially slow said decay. The tombstones make sense to me. But the burial plots are just nuts. Every first world country has an elaborate system of underground pipes and chemical plants so I don't have to deal with my own shiz. That is awesome. Prostitution in us illegal, well, mostly. Corn industry in us, legal. Same for seatbelts being a requirement. But if you ride a cycle in certain states, you don't even need a helmet. Contradictories abound. Obsession with sports. I like a good hockey game every now and again. But living your life for a team is strange to me. Pregnancy. Did it to term twice. Never got used to it. No matter how much human culture tries to tell you that it just comes naturally to women. That it's a natural function that we adjust to. Yada yada yada. Just know it is literally a tiny freaking stranger lodging in your abdominal cavity. It decides when it wants to move. When it wants to kick. To stretch. To poke. To dance. I can't tell you how many times I was in the shops, minding my own business. And suddenly the bony feet of the current FOTUS in residence would start doing the freaking reverence on my cervix from the inside out. And every time that happened, the sensation of electric shocks right down my footer and you can't even rest. You'll lie there on your back, like you've done all your life. And suddenly you'll get lightheaded and stuff. Because the weight of the baby is pressing down on the major artery running through your thorax. Like, Mother Nature got so excited about the internal FOTUS carrying thing that she forgot about this slight inconvenience. No good. Gotta lie on your side. But baby doesn't like that. Baby gotta get comfy now. So the little sonofat does a somersault inside you. Just as you're trying to drift off to sleep. What's worse is that the bigger baby gets, the more disturbing it is when they move. Suddenly you get to the point where you're just chilling on the couch and then suddenly your belly just shifts. It visibly moves around. You can see that little bastard moving inside you from the outside. And it feels so weird, and I've not even mentioned the bit where you have to get it out of you. Afterwards, I just sat there holding this huge baby. It was a normal sized baby, but huge in the context of it traveling through my orifice. I just looked at my son after him practically shooting out of me after being induced. No epidural. Thinking, what a freaking stupid way to go about things. There cannot be intelligent design. Cause who the frick would design that absolutely bonkers process? This huge grub thing wriggled its way out of an impossibly small hole and could have killed me. And now I have to take care of it. Which is absurd because I am an inexperienced flake with the attention span of a housefly with amnesia, turns out. I am a sufficient caretaker. But it never got normal for me. Ever. I still look at my kids and just feel baffled. I made you little shizzes with my own body. That is the weirdest bit of all. Your body just feeding and hosting these tiny pink lumps that become actual people. And the organic Lego bits were my own nutrients. Man. Absolutely bizarre. Parents ignoring their children's misbehavior with indifference and helplessness instead of correcting it properly and resolving it. Children's beauty pageants. They freak me out.